Hey folks, this is Valkyrie612. I noticed that WarThunder changed the radar on the AA tanks, and I looked around for tutorials and I could only find a couple, and they weren't very good. They only lasted like 20-30 seconds and they didn't really show you how to use it. So I thought I'd make this tutorial, figuring there were probably a lot of other people like me that were wondering, hey, how do you use this thing? Um, so I'm going to be doing this tutorial. The tank I'm using is the ZSU-23 TAC 4. It's a Russian tank. You notice that it has radar on top here. And so when you're learning how to use it, I highly recommend that you go into the test mode for your tank. And there's a real important point that I need to let you know about when you do this. You want to choose, for difficulty setting, simulator battles. Don't choose realistic battles, because in the realistic test it will automatically lock on like it used to, but it does not lock on like that in the game anymore. So like when you're playing simulator, it won't lock on. It'll still lock on like it always did in the arcade mode, but not in the simulator mode, which is what most of us play. So when you're testing it, make sure you choose simulator mode. Doesn't matter what time of day or what kind of ammo that you use. Alright, now before we get going here, I'm going to show you what keys that I've chosen and what my setup is. So as soon as it loads up here, I'm going to go into controls and show you how I set it up, because it doesn't set up all the controls automatically for you. So you go into controls and you make sure you have tank selected. Go into weaponry. If you look down here, here are your radar settings. There's a couple different radar modes. There's you also have different search modes. So the radar modes are basically how it displays. So one is like a traditional radar screen, the other one is a square screen. Changing radar search mode. There's basically three modes. There's one where it just kind of like looks at a cone in front of your tank wherever you're looking. There's another where it's fixed and you have to move the tank in order for the radar to see outside of the center line. And there's a third mode where it goes all the way around and circles like a traditional radar might. And you have change radar scope scale. I could only find two scales. One is 20 kilometers, the other is 10. It's not very useful, especially with this tank, since it can't really shoot anything more than 2 kilometers away. But you have that option. And you have a select radar target to lock onto, and that's when you have multiple targets that are that have been scanned by your radar. So if you have 2 or 3 targets up there, actually you're only going to see that when you're scanning in the full circular search mode, and then so you can scroll through targets that way to lock onto. The most important one is to lock radar target on. And so when you're looking at the target, as long as it's been panned enough by your radar, you'll see a little green arrow pointing downwards on your compass. I'll show you that in the game in a minute. That lets you know that you can lock onto that target. If you lock onto it, then it'll give you a predicted point in the sky for you to shoot at. And then lastly, we have switch radar indicator type, and that just basically just it changes the way that the the radar presents to the target. It's really not that useful. Okay. So here we are in the game. You notice you don't have the little tracking circles like you would automatically have in the realistic mode and the arcade mode. That's because it's a simulator mode. I want you to look at the left. You see I've got this circular radar here. Look on the left of that at 270. It's set to 10 kilometers. Now I can change that to 20 kilometers and then back to 10 kilometers. So I can track aircraft farther away, but I can't do anything about it. I can't lock on to them when they're more than about 3 or 4 kilometers away, and I can't shoot at them until they're about less than 2. So I've got one mode here where the radar goes back and forth in a cone, and that's the one that I prefer. You notice that little target just came up, that little square looks like a TIE fighter. It just went away and it came back again. So I'm going to select lock onto that. You notice I got a little arrow here. It tells me that I can lock my radar onto him. He's too far away right now, but he's coming there. There he is. You notice you got 2 numbers there. One is meters. He's at less than a kilometer away, so I can shoot him. And I just knocked him out of the sky. The DV number that you saw there, I'm not sure what that is. I think that's delta velocity or something like that. A difference in how fast your bullets need to go in order to get them. I really don't know what that is. Just guessing. Alright, so we got another target here. I'm going to switch some modes here. So this is the square mode that I was telling you about. It's kind of weird. I don't really like it. You know, this little dot there is a target in the lower right. So now I can switch modes so that it's, the radar is going all the way around like it's doing now. I can have it so it's just beaming right where I'm pointing. You see it's not moving. And I can have it so it's looking just at this cone right in front of me. Now there is another aircraft out here. You see that? You see that? See the arrow pointing upwards? It just came up. So that means I can lock onto him. I just locked on. He's within 2 nautical miles, so I should be able to shoot at him now. And I got him. Make sure that he's down. Follow him. He's down. Alright, and that's pretty much it for the radar. If you have any questions, leave me some comments in the comment section, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the game. Bye-bye.